Chewing gum makes you a cannibal? There's a fish under the ground that causes earthquakes? I'm sorry, you could be attacked by a woman's sex organs? Well, it's amazing what some people believe. However, once you learn all the details, you might see where they're coming from. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 bizarre myths that people believe from all over the world. 25. Mbombo. The great god Mbombo is the central figure in Kuba religion. The Kuba had their own kingdom in what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo between the 17th and 19th centuries. Without Mbombo, also known as Mbongo or Bumba, the world wouldn't exist. So, what's bizarre about that? Well, Mbombo created everything, but in an unusual way. He vomited up the heavens and the land after experiencing what appeared to be a mighty case of cosmic indigestion. 24. Gum of the dead. Don't chew gum at night in Turkey. It may seem minty fresh, however there's a zombie-style twist. It's believed in Turkish culture that your gum may transform into human flesh under the cover of darkness. It's not clear what the connection is between a popular synthetic foodstuff and the undead, but originally gum was obtained naturally from trees, so maybe it has something to do with that. 23. Tuesday the 13th. Forget Friday the 13th. In Spain, it's Tuesday, which makes people nervous. The Spanish call it Martes 13, and it isn't a day to test your luck. Tuesday has an ancient Latin link to Mars, the god of war. Blood and thunder aside, the country has also seen powerful things happen on this particular day. The confusion of tongues happened when the legendary Tower of Babel was built, and humans went from using one simple language to multiple ways of speaking. 22. Hatsuyume. Translated from Japanese as first dream of the year, this myth foretells how much good fortune you'll have over the next 12 months. Should you wake up in January having dreamt of an eggplant, a hawk, and last but not least, Mount Fuji, then you've pretty much won the jackpot in life. This mysterious lineup can't be definitively explained. The idea of Hatsuyume may have originated during the 7th century or the Edo period. 21. Sekhmet. The ancient Egyptians worshipped cats, so well, we know they're bizarre. Sekhmet was the formidable goddess of healing. In true feline worshipping fashion, she had the head of a lioness. Now you might think this powerful figure helped the mortals, and she did, but she could also be very dangerous. When Egypt's creator god Ra sent her to attack humanity as the Eye of Ra, she went full lioness and had to be stopped. The gods basically tricked her into getting drunk by offering her a field of blood that was actually booze. 20. Hair-raising and eye-opening. An old myth has persisted that if a mother gets a haircut, she'll be affecting her baby's eyesight. What's the connection between your scalp and whether your child needs glasses? Well, it isn't obvious, to put it mildly. The other story about how your baby will wind up bald makes a little more sense, though. 19. Morning glory clouds. What are morning glory clouds? Well, they're tube-shaped formations that stretch out like thick, heavenly cables across the landscape. Seen in northeast Australia, these clouds, that can reach 600 miles in length, are regarded as highly significant by Indigenous Australians. Morning glory equals birds, and plenty of them. When this weather phenomenon, which the Garwa people call Kangolgi, takes place, it apparently ushers in a flock of our feathered friends. 18. Namazu. Earthquakes in Japan are caused by seismic activity beneath the earth, right? Wrong. According to ancient legend, the whole situation can be put down to an angry catfish. This creature goes by the name of Namazu. What you're feeling isn't a tectonic plate or anything like that, but the tail of the earth shaker moving back and forth. This bizarre and fascinating image has existed in Japanese culture since approximately the 15th century. 17. Baby-faced lie. If you're pregnant and you happen to lay eyes on a less than photogenic animal, that's bad news for your little miracle. Why? Well, because an old myth states that just seeing an ugly creature means that your child will be whacked with the ugly stick. 16. The mermaid's curse. This ancient myth from Cornwall is fishy to the extreme. The Camel Estuary, located on the north coast of Cornwall, England, seems to have little to do with camels. However, part of it is called the Doom Bar, and that is connected to a mermaid, a murdered mermaid. Who murdered the mermaid? Why, a man who was annoyed at her for not marrying him, of course. He shot the mermaid, who then cursed the community with the sandbar, which interfered with local ships. The Cornish don't seem to mind, though, as they named a beer after the Doom Bar. 15. Fire was stolen. Fire changed the game for humankind, but I have some shocking news. It was in fact stolen for us by a light-fingered god. Prometheus is a key example of this. A grudge match between this Greek titan and the mighty Zeus over the well-being of humans led to him sneaking up to Mount Olympus and stealing a single spark of god fire. Prometheus was brutally killed for his so-called crime, with his liver eaten by an eagle for all eternity. Still, it's worth it for all those roaring fires we enjoy. Couldn't have s'mores without them. Thanks, Prometheus. 14. The Headless Men. The Blemier tribe was written about between the 7th century BCE and the 8th century CE. Their appearance was striking in that they were depicted without heads. Instead, their chests had large facial features on them. They ruled their own African kingdom in Lower Nubia by Lake Nasser, though they were eventually defeated by the Romans. 13. Pickle problem. Pickles are very much a love 'em or hate 'em type of food. If you love them, then you might want to avoid putting your fingers on the veggies before dropping them in the vinegar. According to legend, this will result in poorly pickled produce. The same goes for touching them while they're in the jar. 12. MSG madness. Food additives get a bad rap, but has MSG earned its reputation as a salty health hazard? No. Monosodium glutamate doesn't sound natural, but it is. You can find it in tomatoes, for example, and we used to get it from seaweed. As with anything in life, it's not great to overdo it, but the idea of MSG as a no-no is behind the times. 11. Yellow flowers. A bouquet of yellow flowers is a bad move over in Russia. Here, a loving gesture can take an unpleasant turn. You see, yellow is a color associated with betrayal in Russian society. Treachery and romance don't mix. It's also linked to death, so unless you're trying to get out of a date, probably go with red roses. 10. Argentinian werewolf dilemma. The next myth sounds like a crazy sitcom idea. The president of Argentina adopted the son of another family to avoid the boy turning into a werewolf. I mean, I've heard of political intervention, but that's ridiculous. This wild story has its roots back in 1907 when Russian immigrants in South America gave their boy, the seventh son, to the president of the time. This continued a werewolf-beating Russian tradition connected to the Tsar. In 2015, a report emerged that the then Argentinian president was reviving the tradition, something which has been heavily disputed. 9. Graveyard thumb etiquette. Walk around a Japanese graveyard and you might see people with their thumbs tucked into their hands. This is a deliberate move, respecting a powerful myth about digits and the family line. Because thumbs are referred to as the parent finger in Japan, it's considered wise to tuck them in around the dead. Otherwise, your parents might meet their end. 8. Curse of the Evil Eye. A nazar is an amulet or similar item worn by someone to defend themselves against the anger of the gods. This is reportedly in response to someone having great success and drawing their envy. In Cyprus, for example, a charm bearing the symbol of the evil eye protects a married couple from negative energy. It seems bizarre to use something that looks evil to overcome dark forces, but hey, I don't make the rules. 7. Juliet's breast. When William Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet, I'm not sure he could have foreseen people groping a statue of his iconic star-crossed lover. This statue is found at the Casa di Giulietta in Verona, the setting for the classic drama. Visitors write love letters to Juliet there, which sounds quite wholesome. The business of approaching the statue and rubbing her breast, on the other hand, sounds a little less romantic. It's supposed to gain her approval, although I'm sure just asking politely for her approval would be enough, right? 6. Vagina Dentata. No, not the song from Lion King. You're getting confused.
Hakuna Matata.
One myth that has truly traveled the world is that of a dangerous vagina. It could have teeth like a shark and jaws, or something living inside that takes a chunk out of your anatomy. Vagina Dentata translates from the Latin for toothed vagina, and is thought to relate to naturally occurring teratomas or random growths of enamel, hair, and other things where they really shouldn't be. 5. Cracking up. Avoiding cracks in the pavement for good luck is a famous superstition. It has its roots in both Africa and Europe. The idea is that floor cracks are chinks in the curtain between our world and the supernatural one. So goes the old saying, step on a crack, break your mother's back. You do not want to annoy whatever's lurking down there beneath the planet's surface. 4. Salt and catch fire. Another well-known myth is that throwing salt over your shoulder beats the devil. What's the devil doing there in the first place? Well, it's because you've spilled the salt, a surefire way to summon the Prince of Darkness. There's a long tradition of using salt to repel evil, which you've probably heard of. If you're throwing salt, remember to do it over your left-hand side, due to the devil preferring that side. Oh, and make sure no one's behind you. 3. Congrats fall flat. At least if you offer them before someone's birthday. Germans suggest that you save your good wishes for the big day because you never know who's listening. Eavesdropping evil entities might decide to wreak havoc, leaving that person unable to blow out their candles. 2. Friday the 17th. There's Friday the 13th, but when it comes to Italians, Friday the 17th is equally alarming. Why? It comes down to the ancient meanings of the numbers and letters. XVII is the Roman numeral for 17. However, jiggle it around a little bit and you have VIXI, Latin for the words, I have lived. Okay, so you've lived. Congratulations. That sort of implies that now you've lived, you're gonna meet your maker. With Friday being the day of Jesus' death for Catholics, well, that's bad news all around. 1. Eight-legged rain fear. So, you got caught in a downpour. Tough luck. Maybe you shouldn't have killed that spider yesterday. Yeah, this is an accusation that could be leveled at you if you were in Sweden. There's a bizarre relationship between arachnids and the weather. Dread to think of what would happen if you killed a bunch of spiders. It sounds like you might bring on the end of days. So, what's a big myth from your area? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out our social medias, including my personal ones, links in that description. And if you want to find out some more eye-opening myth-related facts, then watch this video on common myths that are shockingly true. If you're on a myth kick, keep going. We have done several myth videos.